Whoa! Okay, those are great. Guten gardening, everybody. July 25th, 2023, we released a video where we asked the question, is it too late to plant potatoes here in Zone 5, Wisconsin and still get a fall potato harvest? Well, today, at the time of recording this video, it has been 81 days since that video, since that planting. And I gotta say, for our area, getting 81 days since July 25th with only a mild frost, well, that's pretty impressive. Now today, I'm gonna be harvesting these potatoes. We're gonna talk about them. In case you didn't see that original planting, you don't know what kind of potatoes we got growing in here, I'm gonna show you exactly what it is, and hopefully we got a decent harvest out of here. At 81 days, we expect the potatoes to be fairly small, but you never know. Now the plants themselves, you can see, still have some green on them. They've all fallen over, and some of them are more dead than others, but the temperature of the soil in this area has dropped enough. We're around that 50-degree mark where we're not going to see much, if any, more growth out of these potatoes. So we might as well get them out on a day where, well, the sun is actually about to come out, which for the last couple of days, that's pretty spectacular. All right, let's go ahead and get started with this fall potato harvest and see if we can answer the question if July 25th was too late. So as you can see by the initial shots here, this is a 3x6 raised bed, so 18 square feet. And earlier in the season, we did our garlic in this bed. We grew our garlic and we had a fantastic garlic harvest out of here. If you didn't check out those videos, you should really check them out. Now, the last couple of days, we've seen a lot of rain, and that's not something I necessarily want at the end of the growing cycle for these potatoes, but let's pull up our first plant out of this mix, and this might be an indicator as to how well we're going to do. What's attached to the bottom? Nothing? What? Small potatoes? Let's look a little bit farther down, because this is the type of potato I'm expecting out of here. This is a red-skinned potato. Now, besides being a red-skinned potato, what else do I expect out of here? Well, I'm not sure. You see, these red potatoes are store-bought, or that they originated from some store-bought potatoes that we had rescued. 5-pound bags of potatoes for 79 cents a piece. And then we had them ready and waiting to go because of when we rescued them there in late July. And they're sitting in our house, chitted so nicely. And we wanted to see what we could get to grow from them. You see how that plant pulled out and it looked like there was nothing attached to it? Now you see, huh? There was actually quite a few, including, of course, a walnut from our squirrels. Thank you. There were quite a few potatoes attached to that first plant. To that first plant. Okay. I'm going to tell you something. When we talk about a fall potato crop, and I'm digging as we're talking, just in case I missed anybody, because these potatoes are a good 8 to 10 inches, maybe more down in here. Okay, I'm expecting after 81 days to get these new potatoes, these smaller potatoes, but take a look at that off of one plant, off of one potato plant that we got in here so late in the Zone 5 growing season. And you can see, if we had a longer growing season, there are more potatoes waiting to grow on here, and these could have gotten even bigger. I'll tell you something, that is a fantastic start. And I was actually talking to another gardener today, and when I told him when we had planted these, he said, man, that is late. I said, I know, and yet we expect to get some nice potatoes. We're hopeful, because these were pretty vigorous growers. Because when we planted them, I mean, they took off. We fertilized them nicely. I'm confident I detached a whole bunch down in here. We fertilized them nicely at the beginning, and a little bit later in the season. These only got one fertilization after planting, but we're seeing some really nice results. I'm calling this really, really nice, because if you can get potatoes this size as a fall potato harvest. And you're probably noticing that you're seeing a lot of our harvests just now, our potato harvest just now. Sometimes it takes a while to get everything out, all of our content out. But given the fact that we got these in so late, these are going to be such fantastic eating, and they were essentially free. I mean, if you think about it, looking at something like this, these potatoes didn't really cost us anything because 79 cents for 5 pounds. I mean, come on. That is next to nothing. And as far as planting goes, I did give these about a foot of space in between each of the seed potatoes that we planted. So they had plenty of room in here. That's one thing I didn't want to do. Oh, come here. I didn't want to overcrowd them. I wanted to give them space, but I also wanted to plant them densely enough. Whoa. I wanted to plant them densely enough that we still got a decent harvest out of here. I mean, assuming that we were going to get a harvest, which I did. For those of you who may have been noting already just how easily I'm digging through this mix, if you haven't tried growing in raised beds, that's something to keep in mind. I'll tell you, these raised beds mean that you have complete control over your mix, and that can make for some really, really simple harvests. This is a blast. I really wasn't sure what to expect. I had high hopes though, and right now this bed is coming through. There's a little one. That'll be a nice little single bite, huh? I can feel the potatoes down in here. Yeah, they are deep. These potatoes are really, really nice and deep down in here. I think I planted them at about 5 inches or so, but you can see, there you go. Beautiful, beautiful size, beautiful eaten potatoes. And the younger potatoes like this, they have a different flavor in my opinion, different taste. But these reds, and if you like red skin potatoes, you probably are wondering at this point what variety this is. But truthfully, I thought that was a potato and it's not. Oh, there's one. Truthfully, I don't know what variety these are because the box itself, or the bag that these came in, I should say, said red potatoes. So not much help there. If they won't tell us what they are, there we go. All right, how many of you grew or are growing some fall potatoes right now? And if you are, what has your harvest been like? If you've already harvested, I'll tell you what. Oh, what? This is the garlic cloves that are left over. You see the roots on here? What happened was I left a couple in here so that we could take the seeds off of them, off the top, off the flowers. And when I pulled them out, I didn't think there was anything still attached. Well, you can see there's growth already here on the roots. I'm just going to go ahead and plant these back in here. Now, typically, what I would want to do is to go ahead and go through the nutrient soak and all that, but I don't want to disturb these any more than I clearly already have. But I'm going to get these planted back in there and see what happens. Well, sorry about that interruption, but that's kind of exciting to get some garlic out here, get it growing again. I'm going to be planting a whole bunch. I think we're going to take some of what we grew this past season, and that's going to become our main planting this time around. Just like last year. Wow. We're going to follow the steps that Keen Garlic suggests for planting, for harvesting, all that. It served us well last year, that's for sure. So why not do it again? All right, some smaller ones off of this plant, but that was right by the garlic bulb as well. Now, as I mentioned, I don't know the date that this video will be published, but I imagine it will be after I show you a video where I harvested some of these store-bought red potatoes that were grown in buckets. So I can tell you, sometimes we have a little bit bad luck maybe with the store-bought varieties versus the certified seed potatoes, but we've had a couple pretty nice harvests off of these red potatoes, and I think that's awesome. I think that's one of the things that you should know about growing potatoes like this. Even if they're not dead, once we get to a point where that soil, and I said at the beginning of the video, where that soil reaches a temp around 50, below 50, the growth of your potatoes is going to stagnate and eventually stop. So leaving them in the ground as the soil is getting colder and colder is actually going to have a negative impact on them, because once the soil gets that cold, you can start to see damage to your spuds, and you don't want that. You want to keep these potatoes. You're not going to eat them all at once. I don't think you're going to eat them all at once. You want to keep them for as long as possible, so you don't need any kind of cold damage to your potatoes before you even get to them. Ooh, there's one. There's one. There's a beauty. Hey, for 81 days. I'm going to keep coming back to that number because I think that's important to note. Hey, if you're enjoying this fall potato harvest, please, whoa, okay, those are great. If you're enjoying this fall potato harvest, please give us a like. We'd love for that to happen. That helps us out so much with the algorithm. While this is probably the biggest set of these reds from the potatoes in here so far, maybe not the most plentiful. Let's see, I'll keep digging down in here. As I said, they've been pretty deep, so keep going just to make sure. So this has got me thinking, we didn't have to plant these potatoes in here, and if we hadn't planted them in here, this bed might have been vacant. So if it had been vacant, we wouldn't have gotten these potatoes, and that'd be just another bit of food that our family didn't get to enjoy. I am so glad we planted these fall potatoes. I'm so glad we took a risk and planted them so late in the growing season. I know we all have our preferences for potato types, or at least I guess there are probably some potato snobs out there, huh? But if you love your potatoes, you have a preference. Is it red? You like the gold skinned? Are you a russet fan? Oh, I feel a big one. There you go. Really nice. And another piece of garlic. Wow, that one had shot up. That's pretty far along for the time of year. What is your preference for these potatoes? And if you have a bunch of smaller potatoes like this, how do you usually prepare them? What's your favorite method? You eat them on salads? Are you like the potato salad type person? I can say without a shadow of a doubt, this has been a blast. A blast to harvest. There you go. This one is almost off to the side. I've enjoyed every second of this. It's been a quick harvest. It's been a fun harvest. It's been a fall harvest of our potatoes. See if there's anything else down. Oh, yep, of course there are. Of course there are more. These are beautiful, consistent size. A lot of these in that 1.5 to 2 inches, I would say, for a lot of these. And for new potatoes, that is fantastic. All right, I'm going to go ahead and say what I'm thinking right now, which is there are plenty of smaller potatoes in this harvest. Yes, but so many of these don't even look like new potatoes. They are a fantastic size. I am thrilled by this harvest. I'm thrilled by these fall potatoes, and this is just more food for the family. And I think proof that at least this season, July 25th, wasn't too late to plant our fall potatoes. Hey, if you enjoyed today's fall potato harvest video, don't forget to give us a like, leave us a comment, remember to share and subscribe, and most importantly, remember, when you're with us, you are good to grow.